Hey everybody, welcome back to the 6 round post-fight show with me, Zane Simon, and my co-host, as always, Eddie Mercado. You need like a little thing to say, like Connor always does, that's me. Everybody thinks it's really stupid. You gotta have like a little like introduction
Oh,
catchphrase.
here we go.
Oh my god, a phrase. You have to say it.
Do I? Nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
You're not going to box me in, Zane. Footwork is too good for that. I'm not Derek Lewis. Okay, I will move. I will circle out.
All right, fine, whatever. We're coming to y'all straight from the end of UFC St. Louis versus Nascimento, a utterly meaningless, totally prelim packed, top to bottom fight card from the UFC that actually ended up being pretty fun.
Reasonably fun. There were some moments where I'm just like, some of the
Yeah.
scoring was a little weird, and there were like long stretches of decisions, and then two finishes, and then decisions, and then two finishes. But I think Lewis pulling out that main event really saved it.
Oh yeah. It's one of those classic. As somebody else just pointed out, live audience really saved this card. They were hyped.
Yeah.
They showed up big for Lewis. They showed up big for Buckley. They were out there for Woodson, cheering him on, and all that. And otherwise,
Charles Johnson too, I think. Charles Johnson is also from St. Louis.
Yeah, Charles Johnson too.
Who I picked, by the way.
Hey, same for me. We're on the same team on that one.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where like it's exactly the kind of card the UFC likes to say, oh, the cards you don't think are going to be any good are good, but at the same time, like it still didn't mean anything. If you didn't watch this card and you were like, oh, I'll go back to it, you'd be like, yeah, you can, but like
you're better off just going to MMA Uncensored and checking out the highlight posts.
Yes, absolutely. Just go to MMA Uncensored, spend your time there reading all the fine work done by great MMA writers like Eddie Mercado, Zane Simon, Anton Tabuena, Victor Rodriguez.
Ooh.
Yeah, name or two people might have heard before. Yeah. Anyway.
And I hope you checked out my betting odds because you might have made some money tonight.
Or the vivisection. Might have made some money.
Vivisection. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Let's talk about this main event. Derek Lewis, Rodrigo Nascimento. And yeah, this fight kind of went down exactly the way I thought it would, which is, Derek Lewis, he gets stuck on his back in almost every fight. Like, that's nothing new. But he's always a guy who people think they've got him right where they want. Like, I got the takedown. This is all going to be easy for me on out. And then they just can't really hurt him there. Your really good grapplers can find a way to own him on the ground, sure.
But honestly, like Derek Lewis I think DC might be the only guy I can really think of that just like put him away on the ground like that.
Wildly, it was DC and Sergey Spivak of all people. Yeah. But Spivak like really just wrestled him hard. He put everything into that. Everybody else, we've seen Derek Lewis on his back, against all kinds of people, and he will just get up and
or wait he's not tired or survive long enough to wait the round out.
Yeah, and if he's not tired and you are tired now from trying to beat him up and failing, then he still hits really damn hard.
And he hit a fucking sweep at the end of the second round on top. I'm like, you hit a sweep from half guard, bro?
Yeah, no, he waited right until Nascimento went to mount. And the moment he went to mount, it's just like, tip. And that was beautiful. That foot sweep.
What I was most impressed with was his cardio, which looked unshaken. Yeah. He wasn't breathing heavy. He didn't seem labored. He looked to be in dog shape out there. And
this was Lewis, you go all the way back. This is like Roy Nelson, Derek Lewis, where he's pouring it on late, and after Roy Nelson spent like two rounds just laying on him, And it's Derek Lewis coming back and like nailing him with huge shots.
A long time ago.
Yeah. It's still, I mean, but that's the thing with heavyweight, is it like these dudes just last forever, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really miraculous. I'm not sure if it's a weight cutting thing or like the lack of depth in the division.
Well, and I think it's when your core traits are being huge and strong and durable, that's the stuff that lasts. It's when it's like,
durability lasting, but the others,
yeah, but I mean, you know, usually heavyweights that last have to be insanely durable. That kind that tends to last a lot longer. You know, it's when the core traits for a guy are being fast or being dexterous or having really great cardio, that kind of stuff can go away. But yeah, so just kind of a classic Derek Lewis performance. And then he tried that terrible foot sweep takedown late in round 2.
Yeah.
And then he got back up and knocked Nascimento so firmly on his ass that you wonder why he would ever try to do anything else in a fight than that right there.
Because he came out looking for the takedown, did Derek Lewis.
He did. His corner was pleading with him, just like, stop all this wrestling stuff.
With the Greco.
Yeah.
Enough. But he eventually listened. But like he kept punching himself into the clinch.
Yeah.
Like willfully engaged in it for no reason.
Yeah. Made the fight way harder on himself. And then the moment he just stopped, it was like, what if I just hit this guy and just hit him? And it was just like, he just knocked him out. There you go. So,
which I thought was going to happen way sooner. I thought this was going to be a first round finish. Just boop, done.
I'm not surprised. Nascimento's never been a dude to. He got iced by Chris Daukaus, I guess, but
that's what I mean. But like, he never fought anybody.
Yeah, he didn't. But he's been durable enough as a heavyweight. He's been, you know, Daukaus is a guy who really surprises people with how fast he is, and Lewis he's not fast anymore. That era of him is gone. But
nope, still powerful as fuck.
Still powerful as fuck. So that was fun. Got out there, took his pants off, as always.
Took his pants off, took his cup out, threw it in the crowd, moved the crowd.
Threw it at the media.
He what?
Threw it at the media. He threw his cup at the media table.
I wonder if Abby Wagner grabbed it. I know she's there.
You can ask her. You can ask her that. I won't.
I'll text her right now and see.
Yeah.
Where's that cup? Wash your hands.
Yeah. Unfortunately for the UFC and for Nascimento, that just kind of keeps the division right where it was. Like, Derek Lewis firmly still a borderline top 10 heavyweight.
Yeah.
And
that's the actual takeaway from this, is that the UFC heavyweight division is going to remain unchanged. We don't have a new prospect coming up into Spain.
Nope.
We don't have a new prospect coming up in Nascimento.
Nope.
It's still the old guard.
Yep.
And I don't want to hear what about Waldo? Waldo's come. Nah, stop it. That was horrible. Like, no.
Yeah.
I don't like watching him fight.
Nobody does. I used to stand by him as like, look, he's a guy who's he's a baseball player trying to learn MMA. Give the man a little time. I used to go out there and go to bat for him a bit. And now it's just been like several years and a bunch of fights, and none of them are fun, and I'm just kind of done, you know? He's big, he's durable, clearly. Like, he took a shit kicking from Robles Despain early in that fight. So he's got the size, he's got the durability, but without a real skill base, he just doesn't tend to hurt people. And he doesn't really tend to have a path to hurting people easily. So he can, if he's tougher than you and if he has better cardio than you, he'll outlast you and grind out a win, but it's going to be a grind.
He fought smart. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I mean
He fought in an intelligent fight.
He's basically out there being like, what if Greg Hardy but cardio? What if Greg Hardy didn't fall apart and was just huge and tough to hurt, and that's it? So
I feel like that's insulting Waldo. And I'm down to insult Waldo, but
yeah,
that's a little too far, I think.
is it? Like, nobody likes watching this dude fight. He has won. He's won 11 of his last 12 fights, and everybody's just like, pass.
Yeah. But hey, he'll probably be around forever.
Yeah, no, I mean he's only 32, which is a child by heavyweight standards, and he is 6'4", and he's tough as hell. Like,
just
it is what it is. Otherwise, let's talk about the co-main event. That was fun. Sure, that was a hell of a lot of fun. Joaquin Buckley, Nursultan Ruziboyev in a battle of all offense, no defense at all.
What? No. Come on now.
Who had defense in that fight?
Are you someone who doesn't count footwork as defense?
Well, okay, what footwork are we counting?
Buckley
literally ate every single counter that Nursultan Ruziboyev threw that whole fight. All of them.
That whole first round was Buckley being on his bike and staying the fuck away, either all the way in or all the way out.
He got hit so much.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. Like, Ruziboyev, I don't know. The stats on this look weird to me because it shows neither man landed anything in that first round. But I remember.
That's called defense.
It was not great defense. It was a lot of.
It was smart for Numansa. I think him just staying on the outside, staying mobile, keeping his guard high, because Ruziboyev just kept trying to load up on his right hand the whole fight. To the point he's just telegraphing. He's like, all right, I'm going to throw my right hand. Are you ready?
Every time he threw it, it landed, honestly. Like,
not in that first round.
Fair enough. It just felt to me like Buckley's a guy who loves to go forward. Ruziboyev's a guy who loves to go backward and loves to just sit and counter the moment somebody walks into the pocket on him.
Sure. And I think that's why the first round was so stale. Yeah. Because Buckley was being defensively responsible, I'll say, and Ruziboyev wasn't trying to bring it. He was trying to counter.
He's always a dude who just wants to sit and wait till you come to him. So
I think this was a smart fight for Buckley, though. The way he was blasting those takedowns.
Sure, yeah.
Smart.
By the end, yeah. He really put it together over the last couple rounds. And I mean, the big thing to me is just Ruziboyev's a guy who's not used to being the nail. He came up crushing cans.
He never fought anybody. Exactly.
Yeah, he came up crushing cans and losing every time he fought somebody tough. And even in the UFC, like, Bruno Ferreira, he basically just like nuked on the first shot. And then Cedric Dumas as they stepped down from Bruno Ferreira. And then Joaquin Buckley is his first test in the UFC. And he hit him plenty, but Buckley could take the shots. And he started making Ruziboyev have to fight him off. And you can see that Ruziboyev isn't a fighter used to that. Just from like the simple fact that, the illegal up kicks, stuff like that. It's all like panic offense from a guy not used to having to fight out of tough spots.
Yeah, I didn't like seeing that. He definitely seemed frustrated. But like one of the biggest reasons I was picking Buckley here is because, I mean, yes, the strength of schedule, Buckley's is way better. He's more proven. But they both fought on the same card on March 30th, right? Not too long ago. Mm-hmm. But Buckley fought at welterweight and Ruziboyev fought at middleweight. And that is a much heftier weight cut.
It is.
Much heftier.
He's 6'5", so.
But like, this is such a short notice fight. I was like, how the fuck is he gonna peak for March 30th at middleweight, get done with the fight, start bulking back up, and then have to immediately cut again? Like, it didn't sound like a recipe for success for someone unproven.
That's fair. I picked Ruziboyev just because I thought he would land. He'd land the kind of counters on Buckley that would do to Buckley what
like Kevin Holland,
Alessio Di Chirico and Kevin Holland and Chris Curtis have done, or even Jackie Gosh way back in 2016. Like, Buckley he runs in on straight lines so often, and Ruziboyev, he lands good counters. He hurt Buckley bad at one point in this fight too. Like, he did have him, and then he went for like a flying knee, I think, and like gave it away. But
yeah, this was a veteran performance from Buckley. I'll say he really had to like be well rounded.
Yeah,
did Molly also pick Ruziboyev?
She probably did, I think. She's mad about it, whatever it is. So yeah, no, I'm impressed with Buckley. He went in, he got the takedowns, he fought through all the hard spots, and Ruziboyev he just kept making like terrible mistakes. It's just one of those things. Like I say, I just think he's a dude he's not used to being the nail. So whenever somebody can take the shots and keep fighting through on him, he will make the wrong decision.
Yeah, and maybe that'll change, but I don't know. He's got a lot of fights already.
Yeah, he's not a
finished product. He's got to stop telegraphing.
He's 30, and he's been, he's had like 40.
That's a hard 30. That is a hard 30.
He's 30 with like 45 fights to his name. Like, he's not gonna change that much at this point. It would be a pretty big miracle. He's been fighting for a decade. It's a long time to bake your style in.
He's huge though for 170. Didn't he used to be a lightweight too?
Could be.
I'm pretty sure he fought at lightweight at one point.
He's rail thin, so if he was a lightweight early in his career, I wouldn't be that shocked. But most of what I see in his wiki is welterweight and middleweight. I assume he's going to go back up, but who knows?
You think so?
I didn't get the idea this was a long-term change for him, but I thought it was just an opportunity. They were trying to get Buckley on this card, and they just started asking people. He probably just dipped in.
Yeah.
And
he fought at lightweight in 2014.
Oh, okay. He probably just dipped in and told the matchmakers, I'll take that fight, I would assume.
Yeah. And good on him. That's a risky fight, though, man. That is a risky fight. But, hey, you get the chance to fight someone ranked, you kind of have to take it.
Yeah, like I say, a credit to him for he saw Buckley out there saying, I want to fight it in St. Louis in a month. And
that was a gangster move, too.
Yeah.
Showing up at the UFC 300 press conference to be like, yo, we love Derek Lewis, but not for 5 rounds. Come on.
Yeah.
Put me on the card. And it worked.
Yeah.
It worked. That kind of hunger gets rewarded.
He made the card a lot better, honestly. Like, having him in the co-main event, that's a huge upgrade for this card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a Buckley fan.
Yeah. Even with the Conor McGregor call out.
Yeah, I thought it was a good call out.
It is one of those things where it's just like, it got his name. Everybody's talking about it. It got his name out there.
Well, here's why I liked it. It wasn't just like, I want to fight Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to fight Conor McGregor, and here's why. Because he's trying to bully these 45ers and 35ers. Like, what are you doing?
Because he's a multi-generational hoe, Eddie. That's why.
There, right? So he's like, actual merit. Like, hey, stop bullying these little guys and fight someone your fucking size. Enough of these lightweights and these featherweights and these bantamweights. Fight a fucking welterweight that's built like that, right? And then he prefaced that with, oh, your dad's a hoe, your daddy's a hoe, your daddy's a hoe, and your mama raised a hoe.
Yeah.
So what now? So he had plenty of ammo.
Conor McGregor's not going to take that fight, but
fuck no. Conor will never even address what was said.
No. Why would he? Well, maybe he'll get a little bit, be a
Booger
little,
sugar?
a little bit on the party.
Nose beers?
And maybe he'll just address it and delete it an hour later.
If
But
he does, I think it will be the next time Buckley loses, Connor will get up there.
yeah, probably. That sounds about right. Anyway, it was a messy ass fight, but it was a fun ass fight. Just a lot of wild, swings and momentum.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of blue belt grappling out there.
Yeah. Yep.
And some heavy shots being traded. So,
yeah,
time.
Buckley got a knockdown there in the third.
Yeah.
His corner called it too. His corner was like, all right, now go after this guy.
Yeah. Like I said, Raziboyev, he can't be the nail. He's dangerous as hell. He's huge. He's a problem. But if you can go out there and just push him and punish him, dude is not made to be the nail.
And he's way too fucking tall to stop a takedown. Like his hips are so easy to get under.
Yeah.
Like it's like.
So let's see. Is there a? Oh, we forgot to do. Is there a heavyweight fight Derek Lewis needs out there? I mean, he's fought everybody.
It doesn't even matter.
No. Well, wait. It somehow hasn't. It somehow hasn't happened. Rosenstruik is off a win right now, and we have not had Derek Lewis versus Jairzinho Rosenstruik.
I got a bad feeling about that, man. I think
that's fine.
A stinker.
Could be, but
I'm telling you, I don't think I like that fight. I think
they're just going to look at each other.
Yeah, exactly. Like Rosenstruik is known for just fucking being passive, and Lewis, like he's content getting controlled for a long period of time. But I think you should put Derek Lewis in there with Tom Aspinall in Manchester.
They are not going to do that.
Why?
They're not.
Why?
He's ranked 12th in division right now.
So he's Derek fucking Lewis. He just pulled his ass out for the crowd.
They're not going to put him in the co-main. Tom Aspinall is not going to take that fight.
Bullshit. Tom would take any fight, I believe.
He's not going to do it. It's not going to.
Well, I think they're going to do the Curtis Blades rematch.
Yeah, they're going to do the Curtis Blades rematch. If they're not going to do the Curtis Blades rematch, they're going to do Cyril Gahn. They're not going to do
Gahn's making a movie. He's busy filming a movie. He's not available. Yeah. They should do Derek Lewis.
They're not going to do
Derek Lewis that interim title shot.
They're not. Derek Lewis is more likely to end up facing like, I don't know, is there somebody out here who's just like, does the heavyweight even have anybody anymore? Jesus. What is this?
Yeah, Tom Aspinall.
They're more likely to put him in there against like Carl Williams or Mick Parkin, honestly.
Or Rosenstruik, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Rosenstruik is the fart. No,
you said it. It's a fart. That shit's gonna stink.
It's the fight that's gonna happen, but they're more likely to otherwise make him fight down the division than go way up the division. All right. On that note, Joaquin Buckley, though, he's not going to get Conor McGregor.
No, ever.
So, I mean, it's probably not, I think Jack's probably risen up too far right now, but you got to do Jack Della Maddalena, Joaquin Buckley at some point.
At some point.
That fight.
I was actually talking to Stephen Thompson the other day, and he needs a fight.
Yeah. I would watch the hell out of Stephen Thompson.
It's funny, too, because I was like, he actually brought up Buckley. And I was like, why don't you try to get on that St. Louis card? And he was like, nah, I need a full camp for Buckley.
Yeah. Stephen Thompson is 41 years old. He is not fighting anybody on 3 weeks' notice. Yeah. That is not happening.
And he's earned that right.
Yeah. No.
But that would be an interesting fight, I think.
I am about to be 40. I would not fight anybody on 3 years' notice.
That's what they make guns for, Zane.
That's right. So, yeah, Stephen Thompson, that's not a bad shout if that's the fight Thompson wants. I mean, otherwise, you're looking at, You could do Joaquin Buckley, Michael Page.
Ooh, that's almost like Buckley
Holland.
versus Holland all over again.
Yeah.
It would be a fuckload of fun, though.
Yeah. So
it's funny too, because like I was asking Thompson, I was like, well, MVP sounds like a no-brainer. You versus MVP. And he was like, yeah, in theory, but honestly, that fight would be boring. He was like, you just two people staring at each other in their stances the whole time. And I was like, respect. Like,
yeah, hey, if he knows it, I'm happy to hear him say it, you know.
Yeah, I was shocked.
All right. On that note, that gets us to a light heavyweight bout. Carlos Ulberg and the winner for brain thinking of the night, Alonzo Menifield. Like, Menifield, your whole thing is being tight and controlled and patient for that moment. There's like 4 moments of fight where you can blast somebody and otherwise just trying to stay in your shell and survive. Ulberg's whole thing is starting super hot and then falling off. Why would you go out there and just run at him? Like, Ulberg is he is one of the fastest dudes in a division full of fast dudes that hit hard. Carlos Ulberg might be the fastest, honestly.
And his check hook is his thing. Like, that's his move.
Just a terrible way to
honestly, I thought he was doomed from the ceremonial weigh-ins when like he messed up the dap. Like he went in to shake the dap. And like it got weird. And I was just like, this guy looks like he just lost right here at this face-off.
Yeah, you can't have that charisma death like that going in.
Ulberg's man, he's an alpha.
Yeah, I mean,
he is built for 205.
I hate the whole alpha beta thing, but I will say his post-fight speech was very boring, and I was still like, oh yeah, that's a really nice post-fight speech, because he's so handsome that like it doesn't matter what he's saying, what he's doing. He's just like, that's really charismatic. You got it, man. It's like he and Chase Hooper had the same post-fight speech, and it's that hello HR meme where like Chase Hooper says, "Oh, like that's some lame bullshit. You want to be in the EA Sports game? Come on, it's a video game." Carlos Ulberg says, "I'm like, yeah, you do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you deserve it.
Yeah, you deserve it, champ."
Yeah, man, he's a scary dude.
Yeah. So, yeah, Ulberg, he's the real deal at 205. You know, you got that kind of speed and that kind of power that he has. You know,
12 seconds.
Yeah,
that is the 3rd fastest knockout in light heavyweight history in the UFC.
That's a division where the whole game doesn't have to be rounded out. It doesn't have to be controlled. It doesn't have to be tight. As long as you are powerful and big and fast, you can go all the way to a title shot. You know,
someone said Menifield Kat Zingano did full on when Kat fought Ronda Rousey and just threw the pooch.
Yeah,
she just ran at her.
Yeah. But yes, the bubble. Somebody else has been watching a lot of 30 Rock, John Hamm. You won't know it because you don't watch TV, but it's the whole joke about how handsome people just go through life with on easy mode, with everybody giving them things, and they never understand that they're really bad at things or anything like that. Because everyone's just like, "Oh man, no, that's excellent."
Sure.
So yes, he lives in the bubble, but he's also actually kind of good at fighting, which is unfair. Like, a man who is that handsome should never be actually good at other things. That's unfair to the rest of the world.
Well, people who are handsome shouldn't be tough.
That too.
They should be glass cannons, if anything.
Anyway, yeah, Ferreira, Ulberg, he's on a run, and that is a division where he just beat Menifield, who's ranked 11th. I would have no, question that he has the potential to beat Anthony Smith or Johnny Walker or Nikita Krylov and suddenly be right there in title contention in that division,
All of those sound fun.
Yeah. I mean, really, like, it's too bad that they just insta-booked Khalil Roundtree versus Jamal Hill, which is a good fight. But Khalil Roundtree, Carlos Ulberg, I would watch the hell out of that fight.
Maybe we'll get it.
Yeah, sooner or later. All right. That brings us to the old man performance of the night. The six-pack of Bud Light with the cooler and your chair out on the lawn, just hanging out with the barbecue award of the night. Should just
also telling the kids to get off the lawn too.
Should be a little. The award is just a barbecue. It's a barbecue with like some burgers on it.
Sure.
And Carlos Diego Ferreira, he won it. Like Mateusz Rybicki put it on Ferreira from the beginning. Looked exactly like the fight I thought it would be. I think did you pick Rybicki as well?
Yep, sure did. Like until I saw the fight happen.
Yeah, exactly like the fight you thought it would be. That first round, just punishing, head forward, putting shots on Ferreira. Something I noticed really early though was that Diego Ferreira, every time Rybicki would come in and land like two or three good shots, Ferreira would always finish the exchange with like one last shot at the end. And it reminded me a little bit of Jalen Turner, Dan Hooker. And I was like, if Rybicki slows down a little, Ferreira's already showing him he will stick around. He will be there to punish him if he starts to flag. And lo and behold, Rybicki just fell off a cliff. Round 2 started, and all that pressure that he poured on Ferreira, it just turned against him in a heartbeat. And
yeah. I made that read in the first, and I tweeted out Diego Ferreira's plus 350 on the live line, right? And then I posted a little picture of my betting slip, right? And somebody got up in the comments with just like the skull, like dead, trying to like mock me. And I just replied with a wink, and then I placed the winning slip, of course, because
What'd you win for it? I got to know.
What did I win? I won plus 350 return. What are you talking about?
Well, I know, but what'd you bet? What'd you win?
We'll talk after the show.
Okay.
That's tasteless. I don't like
that. It's not tasteless. It's Brett.
I think it's tasteless. The IRS is watching. What are you doing?
Okay.
Come on,
no, Eddie. Come on.
What are you working for?
What'd you win? Let me get my pen here. Let's see. You got how much for that?
No. And if anyone listening, if you want like a live line show, let me know, because I feel like that's kind of my bread and butter is riding that live line and finding a lot of value.
Yeah, that is an idea you were talking about, like maybe getting out there doing some live betting.
It just seems like the smarter move, right? You can see how.
Yeah. I mean, there are plenty of fights where I've watched the first minute and just been like, oh shit, that's a totally different fight than I thought it would be. Right away.
Like in this case, where you see someone sprinting and not putting the guy away, and know Ferreira's tough and can stick around, and he was staying in those exchanges.
Yeah,
there's a lot of value in that. But what a fight!
Yeah, what a fight! What a comeback from Ferreira, because he got hurt in that first round too. Like. He got hurt bad. And I really, honestly, I thought Rybicki, I thought he made a good move. A lot of people, might have had questions about, but when he followed Ferreira to the ground, I was like, honestly, like if you can be fearless and you can stay on top of Ferreira, that's a good way to sap his gas tank, is just to get on him, grapple with him, make him keep working. All that. Don't let him Charles Oliveira you where you like, oh, we went to the ground, I'm scared. I'll let him recover, get back up, and all that. Like I thought that was a good move, but he just couldn't make any of it pay off. And
well, Carlos or Diego is 39 years old, so I'm obligated to mention the USADA thing.
Yeah. Somebody, I run a live thread for the shows over on my Substack. If you're not checking it out, check it out. It's free. I'm not making anybody pay. We're just chilling out, hanging out, watching fights, talking about it. And somebody did come to me right away, and they were like, "Oh, Eddie's going to be talking about this on on the 6th round."
Yeah, I'm obligated to now.
You are, yeah.
I
You're
dug
the
my own grave
post
on that one.
USADA guy.
The no USADA guy, yeah.
Yeah. So
cool to see. Cool as hell to see someone rally like that.
Yeah.
But I still gave that a 10-9 first round because of how well Diego was doing despite getting dropped and fucked up.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a 10-8 round. I didn't, honestly. There were a couple handed on. I don't think there was one 10-8 round on this. There was one 10-8 round on this whole card, and that was...
It was early, right?
That was Chase Hooper, Vyacheslav Borshow.
Right, which was a 10-8.
That was a 10-8 round. That is the only 10-8 round on this whole card. I don't know where the hell Joaquin Buckley got handed a 10-8 over Nursultan Raziboyev. 2 judges gave him one.
What?
Yeah, he got 30-27, 30-26, 29-27.
Definitely wasn't the first round. Definitely wasn't the second. I don't see how it could have been the third.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think so at all. So I don't understand where that came from. And yeah, no, otherwise I wasn't giving out any 10-8s for this card. It was a solid fight from Ferreira. You know what? Hey, it is that post USADA era, as you said, so maybe his dream of regaining his spot in the rankings is less far-fetched than I would think. I would certainly... did we already... In fact, I gotta... He's been around so long, I gotta check and make sure that we didn't already get this. I would be happy to see him fight Bobby Green. You know?
That doesn't really do much for him in terms of getting him back to the rankings, I think.
I mean, Bobby Green's ranked 15.
Is he?
He is.
How is he ranked 15?
Well, he's coming off a win over Jim Miller, and he beat Grant Dawson, and he beat Tony Ferguson. And
come on.
He, that's, you know. He lost to Jalen Turner and Drew Dober and Islam Makhachev, but they're all ranked fighters too. So he's just right there keeping the gates at the bottom.
I don't like it. Let's do Moicano. That sounds like a way better fight. Way more fun.
Yeah, Moicano's not accepting that fight though. He's got bigger dreams. Money Moicano. Diego Ferreira does not make Renato Moicano money.
Fair.
He's more likely to get Patty Pimblett.
Nah, Chase Hooper is getting Patty Pimblett, man.
Chase Hooper is not getting that. Look, he's a pro MMA fighter. He could kick my ass. I know this, but that was a cowardly call out. Just say the man's name. You'd be like, a British guy who fought a legend. I didn't think his performance was very good. Come on, man.
He's not a good shit talker.
He's not.
But that's okay. He had a career-defining performance today.
He did. We'll get to it in a minute.
Yeah.
Anyway, that brings us to Sean Woodson, Alex Caceres, and our first, since we're going down, our first to talk about, I don't like this decision at all, call of the night. I thought Alex Caceres won this fight. Now, I'll say that is based on a very close second round. That could have gone either way. But every judge gave Sean Woodson round 3. And that's bullshit. He did not win that third round.
But maybe he did. I have to go back and look at it. Because remember I tweeted out you're like, I don't know how anyone could give him the third. And I was like, yeah, but his fro is the opposite.
Yeah. Okay. There is the Caceres, he gets hit, things move around.
Right. So I'm not sure if he was wobbled early on because he got hit. He got cracked early on where he did some weird movements. And I'm not sure if he was just off balance or he was wobbled or it was just his hair moving. I don't know. So I can see how a judge might kind of weigh that as the heaviest strike.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I did not bet Caceres by decision. I did not bet on the fight, but I picked Sean Woodson to win it. By all rights, I should be happy with that. I think Woodson had a great start, and his performance just declined steadily from there.
Well, I think it plateaued. Once he was tired, he like has this steady tired pace where like it looks like he can't lift his hands, but then like out of nowhere he'll just spring into like a cross or a jab and still has enough boxing just built into him to where he can just move his head enough and bob and weave just enough to not get slept.
I was just happy to see Caceres actually light on the right way to win this fight by the end, which is just pressure relentlessly. Woodson is really bad. He's really bad about backing himself to the cage, and he tends to shell when he gets backed up, which means he can't counter. So you just keep going after him, and he's there. And Caceres did that in the third round, which is why I really thought he won it. And yes, then he called out that Woodson then called out that he plans to be in a title shot on 2 fights. Hey, at least he made a call out with a name. He called out Bryce Mitchell. He might actually get that fight.
That's the worst call out.
He might actually get that fight. I mean,
that's low hanging fruit, man.
Yeah, well, it's probably not a fight he's going to win, honestly.
But when Woodson started petering out, I was getting visions of that Julian Erosa head kick knockout that Caceres landed. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, bro, the way he's like moving out of these exchanges, like that head kick is right there.
Yeah. Not a great fight from Woodson. And I don't see the title path skyrocketing the way he thinks it's gonna off of that. Like, you can't be a fighter. Most of your fighters at the very top who really rise up to the elite and stay there, they tend to actually like get better as fights go on. As the fight goes on, like round 1 or 2, they start slow, and by round 3 or 4, they're really cooking.
And they come forward.
Yeah. Woodson being a back foot, start hot, slow way down guy, like that's just not it.
No. And he seems so soft, respectfully, right? Like he doesn't have a lot of pop in his punches. Yeah. Like his technique is there and he can hurt people, but like there's a lot of pitter. There's a lot of. I feel like he's just begging for an overhand. Like he's just begging for it. And
absolutely.
He's got a comeuppance on the way. I think
he is a high volume, low power fighter.
Like you're calling out Bryce Mitchell. Why don't you call out Josh Emmett?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's just not going to get that fight. A fight with Emmett probably, but Mitchell is right there, ranked at the bottom. But maybe. Dan, you get Diego Lopez. Call out Diego Lopez.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Someone in the chat said, Donnie Dogpiss, you can't get tired consistently in the third round, not championship. No. 100%. Like, what's he going to do in a 5-rounder?
Yeah.
Get knocked out.
All right. That brings us to a heavyweight bout. Waldo Cortez Acosta hype checking Robles Despain, and I was willing to pick Despain here just because I was like, he's probably going to knock him out in 15 seconds because Waldo Cortez Acosta does not strike me as somebody who is ready to be hit that hard that fast. Most heavyweights aren't, and he almost did, and then he didn't, and then he lost, and that was pretty much the fight.
No, this was one of the worst fights I've ever seen.
Yeah.
This was really hard to watch. Like really hard. And I was really hoping this I really wanted Despain to be a Nagano. I really did. I wanted him to come out and just maul motherfuckers. But nah, he's too raw, too green, no takedown defense, and no kind of nothing off of his back. No kind of wall walks, no kind of shrimping, no kind of sweeps, no submission attempts, no fucking nothing. Like
he's 35 off of 20 years of Taekwondo. He's just not going to have an MMA game, and it's never going to have one. Like, the skills are never going to suddenly appear for a man in his late 30s off of an entire martial arts career in something with no ground game at all. I mean, it's actually it's a martial arts career with no full contact fighting at all. You know, it's a points based, like, shiny pants kickboxing or karate kind of martial art. Like,
is there no contact in Taekwondo?
I mean, there's contact, but it's that sort of like,
I don't know.
It's that sort of like hit. Okay, we stop. We reset.
Do you get disqualified for knocking your opponent out?
No, that's just a karate thing, I think. Okay.
Well, at least there's that.
But it's very much a like, oh, you landed one good strike. Okay, we stop and break and we restart and like go back to positions. And you know, it's like it's an Olympic sport, and other than amateur boxing, Olympic contact sports or Olympic combat sports are not. They're geared away from full contact, like knockout.
It's
real
disgusting.
It is.
Disgusts me.
It takes the martial out of martial arts. They're trying to make it, you know,
performance art.
Yeah, performance art.
Interpretive dance.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why they need to get that shit out of the Olympics. Karate's got to go. Taekwondo's got to go. Let's get Muay Thai in there.
Muay Thai in there.
MMA definitely. In there.
Kickboxing. Put kickboxing in. You know?
Well, yeah. Muay Thai first, but yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get bare knuckle boxing in the Olympics.
Sure. Even jiu-jitsu would be.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
But, yeah, I mean, I knew this day was coming for Despain. I did not think it would be Waldo Cortez Acosta doing it, but it makes sense. Cortez Acosta, he's tough. He's got that core heavyweight trait. The dude has a chin. And Despain was just really literally waiting for the first guy who could take his shots, and his whole game was going to fall apart.
Yeah, I guess it was an intelligent performance from Waldo.
Sure.
But it just makes me not like him.
Nobody likes Waldo.
Where's Waldo? Who gives a fuck?
All right, I'm not even going to try to find a matchup for him. I don't care. That brings us to a lightweight bout. Chase Hooper, Vyacheslav Borshow. And, this was big-time hours for Chase.
Did not expect this at all.
Nobody's bingo card included Chase Hooper dropping Vyacheslav Borshow. That was not what anybody expected to happen.
This was a shit kicking.
It really was. And yeah, I mean, it's
full on shit kicking. And Slava Claus, man, credit to him for being tough and gritting through a lot of that shit. That inverted triangle mixed with the toe hold. Like, that's some nasty shit he was having to deal with.
This guy he's been asking, they're going to cut Slava. I don't think so. I will say, I do not.
He doesn't cut, right? Instead of getting cut, he just gets big hematomas.
So, yeah, that's right.
He can't cut him because
they're going to welt him.
It's a double entendre for you.
Yes, very.
It's too much fun.
Well, the UFC they don't really cut many fighters anymore. They just let their contracts play out, and then they don't re-sign them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what tends to happen. So I don't, unless we knew the details of Borshow's contract, I would assume that they will let him fight his contract out however long it is. Like, the UFC is not the business they used to be, where you could win, you could lose one or two fights. You could go like 4 fights in a row and lose one, and the UFC would be like, okay, get out. Like, this is a fight. This is an organization that cut Robbie Lawler and Nick Diaz both. Like, they did not care at all. And those days are gone. Nowadays, you see fighters all the time where it's like they've lost 4 straight, and you're like, really? You're giving them another
Sam Alvey,
Yeah. It is that we are in our Sam Alvey era firmly. So I would expect Borshow to be in the UFC again.
Yeah. So I gotta say, Slava Claus, he went for the Brazilian tap there. Did you see that? I don't think it was a tap.
I don't think it was a tap even at all. I don't even think it was a Brazilian tap. I think he was trying to find his hand on the underside of Hooper's midsection to frame away. and Hooper was circling out, so the hand went up, and he's like trying to figure out where Chase Hooper is, and he put a hand down, and then he put his hand right back in on the hips.
It's not so much trying to find where Chase Hooper is. It's trying to create the space between your shoulder and your neck so you can fucking breathe.
But it was also like he was trying to find the torso, because the moment he found the torso, the moment he put the hand down, he immediately took the hand and put it right in on on the underside of his hips. Like, it was clearly where is this guy? Yeah, he was defending.
So
absolutely not a tap.
I don't think he tapped.
No.
But I also think the ref was stopping it because he should have stopped it sooner.
It's a mercy stoppage. He was... The moment Bourchot went out there and tried to handstand out of a takedown in round 2, after his corner was like, fight smart, be defensively responsible, and he goes out there and does like a handstand as a response to a takedown, I was like, okay, just stop this. He's not going to defend anything else. It's not. Don't bother.
Yeah, that was an ass whooping.
Yeah,
man. Jesus.
He is a violent dude on the ground, and he will never be a really honestly comfortable striker. He has no idea where he is defensively when he's throwing his hands, but he's at least getting practiced enough with it that clearly he can sit down on something. You know, he's figured out that even if he does not like striking, he needs to sit down and like do it with conviction. So credit to the guy. You know, that's the right lesson to take away. Like, you may never be a controlled, well-reasoned striker, but make people have to respect it, and then you can change up with your wrestling and your grappling.
Yeah, that's the big thing. People have to respect it, you know. Like Damian Maia, he was never a great striker, but he'd put hands on you if you let him.
We also got this question. Sanko says you have to tap more than once for it to be a tap. Is that true? Yes, I would assume. Absolutely.
You don't even have to tap to tap.
Yeah, you can just yell. Tap. You don't even have to say I quit or I tap. You can just yell. If you just make a noise that sounds like you're hurt, the ref can stop it. But I would say in general, I would rather see most refs wait for a tap to happen twice. You know, it's good practice.
At this level.
Yes.
If it's kids jiu-jitsu.
Oh, yeah. If it's amateur, I have seen more than one amateur MMA bout where a guy is just getting a little roughed up and the ref goes in and is just like, okay, we're done. That's it. And I'm like, you know what? That's fine. It's fucking amateur MMA. Like, that's what it should be. You know?
You don't need to be out there taking years off your life for some fucking amateur, meaningless regional.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
But, the stoppage was trash, but I have no problem with it.
Yeah, it was a terrible stoppage, but a proper warranted, needed to happen stoppage.
Yes, absolutely. Hooper, man, the Paddy Pimblett call out, he's not going to get that fight just because Pimblett's got bigger guys calling him out that are like, Bobby Green's calling him out. Moicano's calling him out. Those are ranked fights that he can potentially win. Green and Moicano, they're probably going to beat him, but they're not like top of the food chain athletes that will absolutely destroy Paddy Pimblett.
But neither is Chase Hooper.
Yeah, but he's not ranked. There's nothing to gain by fighting Chase Hooper. He's just some dude.
There's nothing to gain by anyone Paddy's ever fought. He has never fought anyone that.
No. For Paddy Pimblett, there's nothing to gain.
What?
There's nothing to gain for Paddy Pimblett by fighting Chase Hooper.
Anyone Paddy has ever faced had nothing to boost Paddy Pimblett.
Well, but if they're easy wins, then it boosts Paddy Pimblett. The record boosts Paddy Pimblett.
Which is why I think there might be the Chase Hooper option.
Chase Hooper is just like weird and violent, though. He can be a walkover.
They have very similar.
They do have very similar games,
like wonky striking. But
I just think Paddy Pimblett's at the point now where the thing to gain, he can't gain a lot anymore by just having some guy he fights. When he's on Cage Warriors or coming up, then yeah, there's something to gain just by padding your record out. But he's at a point now where he's well known enough that it's just like the way to gain now is to get into big enough fights where the UFC is going to pay him, and they're not going to pay him to fight Chase Hooper.
True.
You know, he needs to con his way into like a top contender, into like a pay-per-view headliner somehow. That's what he's trying to do. It'll never happen, but that's the goal, because he's got the level of popularity, the fan base to warrant it. If he can just juice the numbers, if he can be ranked 10th, and the UFC has a bad month, he could be he could suddenly be like in some kind of weird headlining spot.
Yikes. That's wild.
You know? That's the game. That's the game he's playing. For Hooper, though, I don't know. Let's see. What's even in this lightweight division right now? Oh, wait. Maybe... Oh, my dog is...
You want him to fight someone ranked?
No, I don't really care. I mean, he could, but...
I say let him fight RDA.
Oh, yeah.
See where the chips fall.
Right. Yeah.
Coming off a performance like this?
Sure. Maybe Matt Frivola? I'd do Matt
Whew.
Frivola.
Whew.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
It'd be fun. But yeah, it has to be something like that, in that neighborhood. Otherwise, moving on. Esteban Ribovic, Terrence McKinney. Now, I made a guarantee on the vivisection that perhaps I shouldn't have made. And that guarantee was that Terrence McKinney would absolutely get Ribovic down and take his back at least once on his way to losing this fight. But it didn't even have time for that. No.
Man.
No time at all.
This was such a wild knockout. It was gorgeous. Like, the way he just floated into that head kick was phenomenal. But the way that McKinney went out and just slumped against the cage, like, he had like this bewildered look on his face. That's hardcore, man.
He's in Phil Haas territory where, like,
yep,
you're not that old. You haven't been in that many fights, but I don't want to see it anymore. Like, the way he goes out, the completeness with which he is KO'd every time he gets knocked out, that scares me. Like, I do not need to see you losing like that anymore. Honestly.
It's like a Melvin Manhoff.
Yeah.
You know, like later years Melvin Manhoff, where he was either knocking someone out or he was just getting turned off.
Exactly. And like, I don't want to see that. I don't like to see that in a fighter. I don't like to see a fighter where every time they get hit clean, they are going way out cold.
Talk about a glass cannon.
Yes, the very definition. Glass cannon in the dictionary. Picture Terrence McKinney right next to it.
Well, right next to Alistair Overeem, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's taken over. Overeem had that whole late career renaissance where he was actually like hard to beat. Terrence McKinney's not going to have that.
But that's the thing. He can be hard to beat. Like, you're either sleeping him or you're getting slept. There is
he can be hard to handle because he will just come out and stomp you within 5 seconds.
That's what I mean. Like,
anybody who has ever withstood Terrence McKinney's first round of offense has always beat him. He's not hard to beat if you can just hang out.
There's a lot of people that can't withstand that.
No, there is. He is top. Honestly, he is a top, like, 2% in that division level of speed. Just raw speed, pure athletic, dynamic energy.
But like, goes for it.
Oh, yeah.
Goes for it. He's sprinting.
He is faster than fast. And most fighters, most people, they have no idea what that's like. You know? Like, You cannot prepare for somebody that fast. You can't. You're not going to have anybody in your gym that fast.
Right.
And
that's the same size.
Yeah. And so he can shock the hell out of a lot of people. But the moment that shock wears off and the moment you can kind of adjust to that speed a little, like you're like, okay, well, now I know how fast this is. I've had a few minutes to experience it. You either have already been finished or it's over for him. You know,
he's been to a third round one time.
Yes, and he won it by knee bar. The lowest. I have the lowest amount of faith that he could repeat that. He could replicate that win.
It was a heel hook.
A heel hook. Okay, I have the lowest amount of faith that he could possibly ever replicate that win.
I don't think he could replicate any of his wins. They're all just so weirdly dynamic and explosive, and I'm not sure he's thinking out there. I think he's just fighting.
No, yeah. Absolutely.
It's a ton of fun, for better or worse. But I mean,
I don't want to see it anymore. I honestly don't.
What do you mean? He won 2 of his last 3.
He just gets knocked out so clean so often.
But he knocks people out so clean too.
Look, I will show up and watch. I'm a sick person. It's my deviance that keeps me here. But for practicality, the humanist in me says,
look at Zane having a heart. You're like the Grinch whose heart grew 3 sizes.
Yeah, that's
just for Terrence McKinney, though.
Yeah, it's a medical condition. Don't make fun of it. I'm got some doctor's appointments coming up. No, all right. That brings us to a women's strawweight bout: Tabitha Ricci, Tisha Pennington.
I didn't agree with the scoring.
Once again, Caceres Woodson, Ricci Pennington. I think Pennington won this fight. And
she was the only one landing strikes.
Exactly. Like somebody was like, oh, how do you, Ricci controlled her up again or pinned her to the cage for 70% of that round. It's like, okay, well, when cage pinning becomes a core part of the scoring criteria, I'll score rounds for Tabitha Ricci, but it's not. And Pennington was landing hard and clean over and over again all through the fight. I had it 30
all 3 rounds.
So did I. 30-27 clean sweep. Just every single round you're landing the better shots and your opponent is not damaging you. I don't understand.
I don't understand either.
That is a point I will just legit say Tisha Pennington got robbed. She got robbed. I'm not the person to say that. I don't like throwing it around. I believe even Caceres Woodson, I don't like it, but I thought it came down to a split second round where that round was really close. Yada, yada, yada. But Tisha Pennington, she got robbed. That should have been a 30-27 in her favor.
100%. It's a crying shame.
Yeah.
I wish there's something you can do about that. There's
nothing. Nothing you can do.
Not leave it to the judges. Whoa.
Yeah, and women's strawweight, most of these women are not knocking anybody out. They're just not. The smaller you get, the less power you have. People's chins do not deteriorate in proportion to their size.
I'll even I'll step on the ledge and say women have a higher threshold for pain than men.
Sure, yeah.
So you couple that with the lack of power, you get more decisions.
Yeah, it's a decision everything. It's just like we've been over this so many times. You score in tiers. First is the damage equal. Second is the striking and grappling. Were they equal? Third is the control equal. And you answer each one before you move to the next one. You don't just lump them all together and say, oh, well, there was this much control, there was that much wrestling. No, you start with the damage. Was that equal? No. Pennington did more. Was the striking equal? No. Pennington did more. You got to go way down to get to the control where then you're like, oh, well, she won. Who cares? By that point, you've already scored the round.
Yeah.
It's
fucked up, man.
It is. It sucks. Oh, just actually, I'm going to go to MMA decisions really quick here. I want to see how on an island are we for that? You know?
We can't be on an island.
No. So it's
The fact that both of us scored at 30-27.
Only Rob Francis got it right.
Who the fuck is that?
He's the judge. Chris Lee and Brian Pusillo got it wrong. Media scores were split down the middle. I am in fact the only person who pitched in on MMA decisions to score it 30-27 for Pennington.
Maybe I should have done that too.
Yeah, I always contribute to MMA decisions. It's a good for the industry. Helps everybody contextualize scorecards in the distant future. Then you can go back and be like, oh well, sure, the score looked like that at the time. How close was that fight really?
Man, that's heartbreaking, man.
It is. All right. Let's see. Well, I guess if Ricci's going to move, if she wins, if she's getting that win. I don't even
want to hear it, Zane. Don't even.
Yeah.
I'm going to treat this as a loss.
Okay. Well, I'm going to look and see just if there's an obvious fight for her. I mean, Yasmin Lucindo.
She should fight Tisha Pennington again.
Yeah. Yasmin Lucinda, she already lost to Lupi Godinez. Otherwise, Amanda Hebush, but she's just bouncing on.
Also, there's the fuck shit where you get back from commercial break, but people are just fucking standing around and they're like, oh, they're still tallying. You're still tallying? How the fuck are you still tallying?
Yeah.
What are you tallying? You score after every single round. Right? Like by the time the fight's over, you should already know what your scorecard is.
All right. We got a couple more to get through here. Another score I didn't agree with. Got to say, I picked Trey Waters going in. Trey Waters, Billy Goff. I thought Billy Goff came back and took that fight.
I don't know. I gave the second round a 10-10. I couldn't discern. Like
it's not a robbery. That was a close one. It's not a robbery. It was close.
I couldn't discern.
Waters came out hot, but Goff rallied back, and for Waters to get 2 30-27s,
yeah, that's weird.
Like,
but I gave Waters the first and the third, and I gave a 10-10 to the second. So I guess I can see how someone could have.
Yeah, you scored it wild. I scored it for Billy Goff. I thought each man had the other. This is the thing I will say. This is the reason I'm not crying robbery on this. The first 2 rounds, each guy won the bulk of one round and then got shit kicked to the point that they were almost standing TKO'd by the end of that round. So it's like they won 4 minutes and then the last minute got beat badly enough that they were almost out on their feet. That was the first 2 rounds. 1 for Waters, 1 for Goff.
I don't know, though. The second round, like, Goff started really hot and Waters was fading, but then Goff hit a wall.
Yeah, that was the fight. I guess I scored round 2 for Waters. I scored round 1 for Goff, round 2 for Waters, round 3 for Goff. But
fine by me.
Yeah.
These are really hard rounds to score.
But I will say, those are hard rounds because you really do have somebody winning the bulk of the round and then fading so bad that they are barely able to stand anymore. And to me, I'm like, well, if somebody's faded that bad, if they're almost out on their feet, I got to score the round against them. I don't care. Like, if you are nearly about to fall down and die, I don't care what you've done up to that point in the round. It doesn't matter. Can't give it to you. That's all there is to it. But anyway. Fun fight.
Grueling fight.
Wild, brutal fight. All right. That brings us to a flyweight bout. Charles Johnson, Jake Hadley. High fives over the internet.
Let's go.
We both picked Charles Johnson. Saw people picking Hadley, being like, yo, Hadley's got the bigger upside, better. I was like, what? Jake Hadley? This is a dude who is he is an athlete. He is not athletic, but he is an athlete bully against worse athletes. When he is the strong guy in the cage, he looks great. Looks like a slick boxer, looks like a slick grappler. When he is not the athlete in the cage, he gets his ass beat by Alan Nascimento. He like has to pull guard and is fighting off his back against flyweights.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is why I don't think I ever pick him.
Yeah.
Because I saw that.
And for me, if it's Johnson's like, okay, he's going to have a bad round. He always has a bad first round. That's always Charles Johnson's thing. But he's not actually a bad athlete. He's not actually an easy fighter to control. He just starts slow. And he picked it up and put it all together. And I loved seeing him get this win.
Yeah. Gritty win.
Yep.
Solid performance. And another St. Louis guy to get the night going. St. Louis went undefeated tonight.
Yeah. And then in the opener, Veronica Hardy, JJ Aldrich, and you know what? I'll say Dan Hardy, he has helped Veronica Hardy a shitload with her confidence. She is fighting way better than she ever used to, because you go back 5 years and I didn't pick her to win this fight. I would never have picked her to win this fight. She's a way better athlete than Aldrich. But she used to hate fighting very clearly and visually, and gas out horribly, get panicked, all that stuff. And she just fought 3 really well-collected rounds against Aldrich. Let being fast and powerful do the work for her.
Close rounds.
Close rounds, but still, Aldrich is a better technician. She's got a better idea of how she wants to fight. She's more, she tries to do smarter stuff, but she's just not fast. And
she's real flat-footed.
She's real flat-footed. She's not fast. It's just nothing you can do about that, It's just kind of the sad. You can't teach somebody to be faster past a certain point. There's a wall,
Mm-hmm.
You can get in shape so good, but you're never gonna outrun Usain Bolt through hard trying. It's just not gonna happen.
No, this was it was a solid fight.
Yeah. Totally fine. On that note, though, we're gonna wrap it up. Check out our check me out on Substack for the Vivisection 6-round Substack. Support us there. And of course, check us out both over on MMA Uncensored. Find me on Twitter at the Zane Simon. Find Eddie on Twitter at the Eddie Mercado. We're going to have a little bonus content over on the Vivisection 6-round Substack for all you.
It might get a little racy.
Might get a little racy. Eddie gets a little sexy. So, check it out. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We appreciate y'all, and we'll see you next time.